From the guy who brought us The Italian Job, Friday, and The Fate of the Furious, family, comes a heist movie with a surprising amount of heart.
Pun intended.
Netflix's Lift is a big-budget adventure that sees a ragtag group of criminals on the hunt to stop an international terrorist and claim $500 million in gold.
I love gold!
So join me as we break down the movie, its twist ending, and why I'll never fly Swiss Air. Oh, and make sure to like and subscribe, I can barely afford economy. Like any good heist movie, you gotta start off with a mini heist to give us a little taste of what we're in for. Lift is no exception, with a fast-paced waterboat chase in Venice that will have your grandma asking what an NFT is.
Once complete, the NFT will have captured the moment of its sale.
I'm getting too over this shit.
But really, this is all an elaborate setup to get to know our characters. Now, you might be thinking that Kevin Hart's Cyrus Whitaker is our main character, but it's actually Interpol agent Abby Gladwell. She's the character that we follow into this world, the character that changes and who grows as a result of her journey. Ever since she was a kid, Abby wanted to join Interpol, an international organization that fights crime. Not really on every kid's top 10 professions. But as a kid, she saw how her mother was devastated when a famous piece of art by painter David Hockney was stolen from their school. She knew how much this meant to her mother and vowed to take down these art thieves. Fun fact, in 1984, over $100,000 worth of Hockney art was stolen from a Christie's Contemporary Art Gallery in New York. What makes Abby's pairing with Cyrus ironic is that she falls in love with the very type of guy she vowed to take down. Cyrus is an art thief, although he paints himself as an honest one.
I would never lift anything from anyone that doesn't deserve to lose it.
To make matters more interesting is that both characters had a romantic fling prior to the events of the movie, in which both of them lied about who they were. Abby claims she was undercover, posing as the head curator of the Gagosian, a network of art galleries that specialize in contemporary art, while Cyrus withheld his criminal past. So while they had a passionate week in Paris, it came crumbling down when their covers were blown, begging the question, was their love real or part of the job?
We fell for the cover. That's it. That's all it was.
The heist in Venice is a nice setup because it sets the foundation for the movie's big heist. Cyrus and his team steal an NFT and legitimately pay for it using the funds they made by simultaneously stealing a Van Gogh. But Cyrus is smart. He knows that art that has a story around it will always sell for more. Case in point, the Mona Lisa. Part of its mystique involves its theft in 1911, where it remained missing for 2 years. With this NFT now being associated with a heist, it skyrockets the price. So they bought it for $20 million and a few hours later resell it for $89. That's a pretty damn good return on investment if you ask me. Apparently, Abby has proof that could put away Cyrus and his team for the theft of that Van Gogh, and it's this blackmail that really gets the story going. While at Interpol, Abby is alerted by her boss, Commander Dennis Huxley, who recently returned from his mission on Pandora, of an imminent terrorist threat. An informant has alerted them to a $500 million deal between international terror financier Lars Jorgensen and hacker group Leviathan. Lars, played here by everyone's favorite professional, has a history of creating various terrorist attacks and political instability for his own personal gain. But what Lars wants to do now is unprecedented. He's been shorting utility companies around the world, meaning that if they fail, he makes a profit. This is why he's teamed up with Leviathan, a group of hackers who can crack into these utility companies and cause mass devastation, as we'll soon witness in Spain. Imagine if you knew a dam was going to break, or you had the power to cause a famine. The wealth you could make on the stock market would be incredible, and that's what Lars intends to do, cause these massive catastrophic events and profit off them. In 17 days, Lars plans to send $500 million in gold from his bank in London to the hackers in Switzerland as payment for their services. If this gold gets to them, who knows what havoc will be inflicted on the world. Now, Interpol's hands here are tied. They have no proof Lars will be handing over this gold to this hacker group. And as far as the law is concerned, Lars is merely transporting this gold from one of his banks in England to one in Switzerland, which is perfectly legal. This is where Cyrus comes in. With Abby's previous connection with Cyrus and a little blackmail, she teams up with his group to steal the gold bars before they can even make it to Switzerland. In exchange for their help, Cyrus and his team will receive immunity from all their past crimes and have their slate wiped clean.
It's full immunity for you and your crew. All felonies wiped clean, past and present.
Now, Cyrus's crew is composed of Camilla, the pilot, Me-Sun, the hacker, Magnus, the safecracker, Luke, the engineer, and Denton, the master of disguise. This dude's got the easiest job. While others are busy flying sophisticated jets or attempting to crack impenetrable safes, his main job is to keep the stewardess busy by asking how the entertainment system works. Not a bad way to make a couple $1,000,000. Cyrus is quick to come up with a plan, one which isn't without its own obstacles. They're not just going to steal the gold, but the entire plane and the passengers on it. But you can't just steal a large aircraft midair without the authorities getting notified, and remember, Interpol can't interfere. Now bear with me because this plan can get a bit complicated. Step 1 requires a private jet, one which will be specifically modded to remain invisible to radar. This jet will house a drone that will trick air traffic control that the plane is on its way to its intended route, when in reality it's headed for Cortina, a small airstrip in the Italian Alps, where the gold will be loaded on trains and safely out of the hands of Lars. Now if that isn't intense enough, you can't just take out a plane's tracking device. They'll need a special device called a PSID, or Portable Signal Interference Device. Problem is, the thing looks like a bomb and there's no way they could get that on a plane. Thus they disassemble it, bringing it on board inside various items for it to be assembled on the plane. Then there's the question of the safe. Not only does it have to be cracked, but it must be done mid-flight, and since the locking mechanism uses precise lasers, any attempts to open it that fail, especially if there's turbulence, will lock them out for good. Thus they have to use what's called a Stewart platform, a hydraulic device that will make everything steady even if the plane were to experience violent turbulence. In addition, Lars has 5 of his own men on the plane, including Arthur from Peaky Blinders.
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
Cyrus has also had to expand the team with 2 secondary accomplices, one of the pilots and Harry, an air traffic controller down in Brussels. These 2 work in tandem with Cyrus to get the actual plane diverted to Cortina, telling the passengers Zurich is experiencing inclement weather and they have to land there. This alerts Lars's men, who then take control of the plane. Now Lars needs that gold and he needs it ASAP if this deal is going to go through. Thus his men load the gold into the private jet, taking Cyrus, Abby, and Camille as hostages, and then make their way to Lars in Tuscany. When Huxley finds out about this, he calls up NATO and tells them to shoot down this terrorist plane, not informing them that one of his agents is on board. Huxley would rather kill his longtime colleague than see this gold fall into the hands of Lars. Luckily, with Camille's strategic flying, which sees its passengers flying around the cabin like an amusement park ride, combined with this fancy remote which allows messages to be displayed on the bottom of the fuselage, they're able to avert disaster and crash land right on Lars's property, where he's in the middle of his deal with Leviathan. But when this lady from Leviathan hears that one of them is Interpol, she backs out of the deal, which Lars isn't too pleased about. The Carabinieri arrive in the wake of the crash and aren't sure who to arrest. But luckily, the whole interaction was caught on camera. At the beginning of the film, the NFT that was bought was part of this mask that had dozens of cameras attached to it. Cameras that would be outfitted on the plane to help Camille fly it. Luckily, one of these cameras caught everything on tape and Lars is arrested. Huxley arrives shortly thereafter and Abby socks him in the face when she finds out that he almost killed her, telling him with pride that she quits. But it wouldn't be a heist movie without an added twist. We flash forward a few weeks later to see that Abby and Cyrus are in a relationship, making their way through the Alps. And Cyrus has 2 surprises for Abby. Not only did he find and take back the Hockney print that was stolen from Abby's mother, but turns out the team secretly swapped out that $500 million in gold. Unbeknownst to Abby, Magnus and the team had dipped hundreds of iron bars in gold and had that put on the same flight. Then when Magnus got into the hold, he simply exchanged the real gold with the fakes. The real gold was thrown out of the flight, where Luke, a team member who had bowed out of the heist at the last minute, was waiting to safely land it in a nearby lake until the coast was clear. We also get this fun shot of Huxley finding out the gold he got was fake. With a push of a button, the gold container is brought to the surface and Abby is officially welcomed as a member of their team. She went from someone who always plays by the rules,
Why do you care so much about the rules?
to someone who breaks them. And there's this great juxtaposition of her asking to be called Abby,
No, please. Call me Abby.
to earlier in the film when she didn't trust Cyrus.
Are you here to arrest me, Abby?
Agent Gladwell.
And with that, the team successfully makes it out with a $500 million in gold. But what did you think of Lift? Will it go down as a heist film we'll remember? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.